Hi, everyone. I'm here with Brian Sanchez, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City. Thanks for being here, Brian.
Always happy to be here, Steve.
So, we're going to talk about a very important topic, and it's important for everyone to have a strategy on this, on when to take a break, when not to take a break. And there's a lot of variables here. So, listen to the whole thing because there's a lot of, like I said, variables here that people need to think about when they're deciding how many days a week to work out, when to take a break, when to eat more, all those things. So if you like interviews with personal trainers, doctors, nutritionists, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to know more about our weight loss program, use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. So, Brian, you and I have been doing this for a long time. And, I'll post things. I have a lot of social media channels and I'll post things. And people are always saying, you're overtraining or your intensity isn't too hot, is not high enough. And it's funny because everyone's different. But after 50 years, literally 50 years of lifting weights and doing this at all different intensity levels, 50 years, that's a lot of years. I better know my body by now. I better know if my intensity level is too low or if it's too high or if my volume is too low or if my volume is too high or if I'm working out too many times a week. If my frequency is too high, I should know that. And guess what? I do know that. That's why I don't use a workout partner, because I don't want somebody yelling at me, come on, you can do one more. I know I can do one more. I don't want to do one more. I'm not doing one more on purpose because I know my body. So we'll get into what I think it'd be really good to get into some tips, which I have some, on just sharing with people how they can know if maybe they should do more or less of this or that. So what are your first thoughts?
Well, first off, when you think about that, we're talking about allowing the body to recover. And you have to understand that the intensity of your workout, the duration, how often you're working out, what is it you're doing? Are you just walking when you're exercising, or are you putting your body under 400 pounds of pressure when you're lifting weights, things like this? You have to understand that all of this is designed to make you better physically, but your body has to rest. And so certain things come into play, and overtraining is a real issue. And when you're motivated in the gym and you're motivated in your health, you always want to stay on top of it. And we get real excited as individuals that use the gyms, that take care of ourselves, that are into our health, how we eat, and things like that, that we forget to sometimes take that break. And we're too afraid to take that break because we don't want to lose what we already have. Look, a week off from lifting weights is not going to stop your body from moving forward. You have to start looking for signs. Simple things. How do your joints feel right now? Is it taking you longer in your workouts to recover? For, let's say, on a Monday's workout, do you feel it into Thursday when you used to only feel it on Tuesday? Or does it take 4 days to recover from that workout? How is your sleep? If you're overtraining, your sleep can be kind of off. You're not sleeping through the night well. Body's acting funny. Are you starting to get physically ill? Is your body wore down so it's not fighting things off? How's your appetite? Things of this nature. Are you skipping supplements, or are you using the right supplements? Is it helping support your workouts? Is it not? There's so many things that go into play with this, but you should understand some simple things. Steve and I had talked off a camera, but we were talking about this program that we have here in our town, where several of us are getting ready to compete against each other in a weightlifting event. I've been prepping for this and my joints are on fire. And this is about the time of year that we do this every year. And every time we finish this competition, I take a weightlifting break. But I know that I'm going to have this every year. So I know that I have to take this break and allow my joints, my tendons, my ligaments, my muscles to say, all right, we got this for a few days. Just relax. Um, if you're not in tune to that and you don't understand what your body's telling you, and you can't tell if your sleep's up and down, you can't tell if you're feeling sluggish, you can't tell if your joints hurt or not, you can't tell if you're in pain, then maybe set up a system or a way of making sure you take those breaks. Now, this doesn't mean you skip movement, that you skip going for your walks, that you skip your stretch programs, that you skip your massages. This just means certain parts of your program you have to take a step back and recover. Even professional athletes recover and take time to rebuild their bodies so that their body can be healthy for the next season or the next big push that they're competing in. Uh, a little tip would be, let's just say you go on vacation, you know, once a year and you know you're going away for 2 weeks. Maybe in those 2 weeks, you truly do take a vacation and you step away from the physical demands you always put your body through. Again, it doesn't mean you can't go for walks on vacation. It doesn't mean you can't do some crunches when you're on vacation. But maybe that hard training that you're so accustomed to, you take a step back and maybe you set it up on your vacation times. When we went on a big long vacation last year, I didn't touch a weight for 2+ weeks. When I came back, my body felt fantastic. And guess what? When I hit the gym and started working out, I didn't lose anything. It's not going to go away in a matter of a week or two. So listen to your body. Ensure you're highly hydrated. Ensure your supplements are based on something for you. And then pay attention to what's happening. Do your knees hurt? Do your ankles hurt? Are you pounding your body into the ground? Or is it time for me to take a step back for a week or two? Steve?
So I'll speak from my experience. And if you watch my channels, I say this all the time. Simply, your intensity level, your training has to be consistent or line up with your recovery. So your frequency, your intensity level, all those things have to line up with your recovery. If you're doing too much of one of these things or another, it's not going to line up with your recovery. So maybe it's 2 days off or 3 days off, or you can work a muscle so many times in a week. But when you do this for a long period of time, you get to where you know what that is. Some people swear by really high intensity level and training once a week. Common for power lifters. They'll emphasize the bench press on Monday, or they'll emphasize the squats on Monday. They'll emphasize the bench press on Wednesday. They'll emphasize the deadlift on Friday. Very common powerlifting training regimen. But I've found, I'm going to speak from experience for my body, that the volume's okay, higher volume's okay, higher frequency's okay. I have to make sure that my body's recovering before I work that muscle part again. But there's also another factor that people don't talk about a lot, and that's the neurological effect on your body, the psychological effect on your body, the shock effect, if you will, um, on for what you're doing in your workouts. So your whole system, even though maybe you worked this muscle on Monday and a different muscle on Wednesday and a different muscle on Thursday, your body, your overall body, even though your biceps might not need to recover, your legs might not need to recover, but your body needs to recover. Your body needs to recover from the stress. So I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. You know, your arms might not need, none of your body parts need to recover. Your body as a whole needs a rest. It needs a rest to grow those muscles. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
That makes great sense. And I have to kind of echo what you're saying there. And do create that system. Like Steve was saying, I have a regiment where I am the guy. Not right now because I'm prepping for this competition. So I'm doing things just a little bit different, but in my normal routines, I hit it once a week. And we were kind of talking about this too, the duration of a workout. That has a lot to do with it as well. Very, very seldom do any of my workouts last greater than an hour. If they do, it's because I've ran into someone and probably having a conversation, or we get into some business conversation real quick in between sets somewhere in here at the gym because I work out where I actually work as well. So pay attention to all that and find a system that works right for you, so you're not throwing your body into the ground. You're making perfect sense, Steve.
And I'll give some examples for me at my age now. I'm in my 60s and I usually train 5 days a week, not too intensely, but I'm training pretty hard. It's not going to do you any good if you just go in the gym and take a nap. So people say, oh, your intensity's too low. I'm not saying my intensity is zero. I'm just saying I don't train at the intensity levels that I did when I was in my 20s. So I'm usually 5 days a week, and I'll do, like, for instance, legs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'll do some upper body stuff on Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesday, after my workout and Tuesday night, I didn't quite feel right. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to work out on Wednesday. I always take the weekends off. So I just said, I'm not going to work out on Wednesday, which would have been a leg day. So I pushed that over to Thursday, and I'll push my Thursday workout to Friday. So it's 4 days a week, two different workouts, and I do them two different ways. I don't work the same body parts the same every time. So I did a Monday and a Thursday, and I'm going to do a Tuesday and a Friday. That's a 4 day split, very popular.
System.
And so I just took a workout out, and I feel better. My workout was better. And now with that extra day rest and then a weekend's rest, I'm going to be back to where I normally am. Mentally and emotionally, that matters. Now, you got to be careful and understand, is that your body telling you that you're mentally tired, or is that you being lazy? Because that's a very common thing. If you're just being lazy, it's like, oh, I need to take a day off, and tomorrow and next week because I don't feel like working out. No, that's lazy. That's a lack of discipline. That's not your body telling your brain, oh, slow down, bro. That's not what's happening. It's you being lazy and having a lack of discipline. It's like, oh, because my muscles weren't sore, my joints weren't sore when I took this Wednesday off. I felt fine. It just right here, and my body just felt a little tired, a little sleepy. And so I figured it's best. But I've been doing this for 50 years, like I said. But you got to be careful, especially if you're fairly new at this, at using the excuse of, well, I need to rest. I need to rest. No, you don't. You're being lazy. And that's very common. And it's an easy trap to fall into. Well, I need to recover. I need to recover. No, you don't.
So I guess you're saying make sure you're putting in the effort, right, Steve?
What was that?
I guess you're saying make sure you put in the effort. I find that interesting too, because when we're talking about taking care of your body, there is something to be said that if you don't push yourself hard enough, your body's not going to change, and you don't want to be that person also that has the conversation of, I've been going to the gym for 5 years and everything stays the same. What am I doing wrong? Well, come see us and let's talk about that, because you may not be putting the effort that you need for your body into the workload, and you're not getting the changes you want. And if you are putting that kind of effort in, then you have to start thinking about how you rest and when you rest, Steve.
Yeah, and how I am now, it's different. See, I've always had the tendency to do too much because I was a skinny little kid. And so I kind of always had the bad attitude or the bad thought process that more is better. No, more is not better. Sometimes more is better. If you're not doing enough, more is better. If you're doing too much, more is not better. Not more days, not more anything if you're doing the right amount for your body. So, because of that, and I trained like a beast. I mean, I was in the gym for 3.5 hours a day, 6 days a week, doing different things. But I was 22 years old. And so a week off, my body felt spectacular, just spectacular if I'd take a week off. Now I've noticed a week off seems like it's too long. And that may sound weird, but for me, a week off, completely off, is too much. So what I'll do, I'm going to be out of town in a month or so for 10 days or so. What I'll do is I will do a full body workout once or twice a week, a full body workout. So instead of going in the gym 5 days a week, I'm going in once or twice, or maybe twice every 8 days, twice every 9 days. And my intensity level will be even lower. My volume will be decent for a full body workout, but I'll really get the blood flowing. I'll get a pump going. I won't do too many reps, but I'll do 10 to 12 reps, and I'll exhaust the muscles, but not like I normally do. I'm not going to lift as heavy, and I'll do it maybe twice every 8 days. And I found that active recovery is best for me. If I do nothing for a whole week or 10 days, it doesn't help me now. I feel no benefit from that. I've got to stay active at least somewhat. That's in my 60s. Is that going to be the same for everybody? Absolutely not. I've just noticed that's how it is for me. You said, being a few years younger than me, that a week off does wonders for you, just
Yes,
completely
it
not
does.
touching anything.
Yes,
I don't feel as fresh and as strong. I feel a little weaker when I do that. So I know, okay, do some dumbbell presses, do some walking lunges, and do some pull-ups, some lat pulls, something. And then that week off, because it's kind of a week off for me, I feel really good when I get back and I'm back in the gym.
No,
But
and that sounds perfect for you. And
yeah, but
like
that's
Steve
unique.
says,
Most people,
yeah,
a week off is going to be magic for most people if they're training with a decent intensity level at all.
yeah, it's going to be nice for me. I'm actually going to be glad when I'm done prepping for what I'm prepping for. We got one more week to go, and then I'm going to take that break, and I'm looking forward to it. But again, like Steve's saying, everybody, it's because I know what my body says to me. I completely understand what I'm doing, and I know why, and I know why it's necessary. So don't be afraid of these things, everyone. Just try different things, see what works out for you.
And I would just leave everybody with this tip. Pay attention to this. If you don't feel like training, you don't feel into it. I know for me, that's not my body I'm not being lazy because I want to get in the gym. I have to hold myself back. So I'm not being lazy. When I don't feel like doing it, something's wrong. And that's when I'll take a day off. And that's what I did this week. So if you're one of those people that hates going into the gym, and you're probably in trouble, your workouts are probably in trouble anyway if you feel that way. But if you're one of those people that just doesn't like doing it, then your brain is probably telling you, you need to rest, stop doing this, stay home, play video games. My brain doesn't tell me that because I love being in the gym. It's like I hate to take a day off. I want to be in there every day. So I know that about myself. So if I don't feel like going to the gym, I know something's wrong. So
Right.
that's just my last tip for I can easily pay attention to this and my motivation. And if it's not there, my body is saying something for me.
I think that's good. And everybody pay attention to what you're sensing in your body. Again, can't say it enough. Me, when this week's over, I'm taking that break. Steve?
Yeah. And last thing, because of that, I also know when I'm in the gym, when to do one more set and when not to do one more set. When I know when to do one more rep, two more reps, or when not to, because of this, because of knowing my body. And so you'll all get there, but you got to try different things and you got to learn your body. It's taken me 50 years and my body has changed. What works now would not have worked when I was 22. And if I tried to do what I did when I was 22, my lifting career would be over.
Yeah,
It'd be over
we'd
in
be
one day. I'd be
we'd be
done.
I'd be broken.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Brian, thanks for being with us.
Take care. We'll see you soon.